Magdalen Berns caught red-handed lying. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and while taking a general break from uploading videos until the 11th, I have been investing a lot of time watching videos from channels that I don't necessarily watch a whole bunch of. Thus, I decided to catch up with that TERF with a brain tumor, Magdalen Berns, who you might remember from repeatedly taking me out of context and selectively editing my videos in an attempt to provoke reactions out of me like an 8-year-old girl on the playground, so that her sock puppet TERF army can come to her aid and defend her from my icky mean man self. Once I started making it clear to people what she was doing, the TERFs tried every tactic that they could to get me to stop, but it was hard because they were used to picking on transgender people that you can just insult a bunch about their voice and appearance and eventually get them to cower away in fear of being insulted in such a way because it's bad for their mental health. But with me, they had no secret weapon, so they had to just go ahead and start lying. They were saying basically things like, "Prince of Queens is mad at Magdalen Berns for no reason at all. It must be because he's an aggressive male that can't stand being beaten by a girl in an argument. He must be crazy. He's just mad because of her superior logic." Most recently, she made this video about me, which took me over a month to even learn about because nobody I care about actually watches her tedious videos. Magdalen Berns.
Ain't a break dancer, show my ass to the world, never pull my pants up.
As you can see, she was obviously hoping to get me upset, and despite the fact that it took me so long to contact her at all, only doing so because I wanted her to link my original video underneath hers, because she was lifting footage from my video. Even though it took me over a month, she pretended she was somehow victorious in getting under my skin. That being said, due to the fact that nobody I care about actually watches her boring videos, and the fact that she will never live stream with anybody, despite the fact that she has told myself and at least a few others that she'd do so, it was hard for people I knew to know for certain in the past whether or not she was a complete liar in the way that I knew for certain and I was trying to tell them. Sure, I spelled it out in vague detail with various tweets in my video, The Worst Thing About TERFs, but for the most part, people just felt like it was one of those situations where they would have to take my word for it, and maybe they did or maybe they didn't. But they weren't particularly interested, mainly, in watching about an hour's worth of videos to see and hear how the drama unfolded for themselves. I can understand that, of course, but now I finally have some irrefutable evidence to show everybody that this woman is just a blatant liar, filled to the brim with toxic femininity, ready and willing to change her story about how females are perpetual victims in whichever way she can come up with at any given moment. Take a look at this footage from her most recent video.
Hi everyone, I was going to make this video a bit more impressive by getting a haircut, but I went into the local barber and they said that I can't get my haircut because I'm female, so I've got to go to the hairdresser and spend 3 times more. So I gave that miss.
Okay, first of all, check out the demeanor and doe-eyed innocence of poor little Miss Berns, the ever-oppressed, fragile maiden. Sure seems a lot different than how she looked last time when she was trying to get me riled up so that I would hopefully lose my cool and she could act like I was crazy. Alright?
Ain't a break dancer, show my ass to the world, never pull my pants up.
Next, take a listen to what she says again. Something about trying to get a haircut.
Hi everyone, I was going to make this video a bit more impressive by getting a haircut, but I went into the local barber and they said that I can't get my haircut because I'm female, so I've got to go to the hairdresser and spend 3 times more. So I gave that miss.
Okay, in case you couldn't understand what she said, it's that she tried to get a haircut at a barber, but the barber allegedly turned her away on account of the fact that she's female, so she would have to go to the hairdresser and spend 3 times as much money. Now, my immediate reaction might have been, for less than 5 seconds or so, that this was such a ridiculously foolish example of supposed sexism, rather like women complaining about hygiene products marketed for women that cost more than the ones for the men, which they don't actually have to buy. You know, they could just buy the male razors. I was probably thinking maybe it was something like that for less than 5 seconds. But within seconds, I realized that she had to be simply lying. I mean, she had to have just made the whole story up to begin with, as she was trying way too hard to appear sympathetic anyway, and I already knew that she's somebody that lies constantly from my personal experiences with her. And then, of course, finally, there was a cherry on top. It occurred to me that in such a far leftist-dominated nation as the UK, it had to be illegal for such a business to deny women business services in such a way. Certainly things as trivial as a haircut. I mean, what decade is this? The 1950s? Am I right? I mean, it's not like we can just look online and see whether or not there is some sort of feminist law already in place preventing the exact discrimination Magdalen was just crying about, right? Oh, wow, will you look at that? There is a law. Under the Equality and Human Rights Commission of England, Scotland, and Wales, there is an entire page clarifying that the equality laws of the United Kingdom apply to hairdressers, barbers, and salons. The only exception that businesses can make for these laws applies strictly to things like nude massage therapists or whatever, as far as I can tell. But of course, I'm not an expert in the intricacies of UK feminist law. Care to correct me, Megs? Maybe on a stream? Basically, in other words, Magdalen was absolutely, without a doubt, making the whole thing up entirely, like I had already assumed. But maybe I shouldn't be so hard on her. I mean, does this look like the type of face that would lie on the internet?
Ain't a break dancer, show my ass to the world, never pull.
So, Magdalen. Remember a number of months ago when I told you that I was concerned about you because you had a brain tumor and I thought that maybe it was impairing your judgment, so I thought that maybe you should get off the internet because I thought that with your relentless arguing you were gonna eventually make some sort of mistake and it maybe wasn't that good of an idea to keep going because you're careless. I don't want to say that I was faking concern at the time, 'cause I largely wasn't. But, you know.